All right. Welcome to the latest episode, edition, whatever you want to call it, of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and we are about to jump into it, guys. It is the start of the new season. This is week one. That's what we've been waiting for. Week one, a real Terrible Towel Tuesday, where we're going to try to talk about the upcoming opponent, which is the New England Patriots, to the best of our ability. Obviously, we don't have any film to study. I'm not going to look at anything from last year, but we're going to give our quick thoughts, man, on what we think we'll need to do to combat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the construction of the 53-man roster. We'll talk about Joe Hayden's new contract, and we'll talk about Tuzar Skipper. You know, a very interesting story there. So we'll get into all of that. But you guys know how I do. Trying to get started a lot faster. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to just, post a link to a few special people where I can't really share it to them, other than texting. So just give me a quick moment to do that. Then we'll get started. We'll do the roll call and then we'll dive right in. And as you guys can see, the phone queue is up. If you want to call in, the phone number is right there on the screen, 619-924-0818. We will give you 2 minutes or less to make your point, state your biz, whatever it is you want to do, and there you have it. So, all right, 1 second, guys. Let me share this out to a few special folks. We're going to send it to father-in-law Leonard, brother-in-law Jamar, cousin Floyd. You guys are familiar with all of these names by now. And that is it. And Tony and Kenyon are probably already in here. Let's see. Yep, Tony's already in here. I'm sure Kenyon would be in here as well. No need to send those guys the link. All right, let's do it. Let's make it happen, Captain. Welcome to the week one premiere of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, for you guys that don't know. This is where we talk about the upcoming opponent for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this week we know prime time right out the gate against the New England Patriots. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight, as well as a few other things. Definitely want to talk about the roster that has been constructed and things of that nature. But really quick, we're going to do a quick roll call. I'll read a few of the early viewers, and then we'll dive right into the content. So what's up to Who's Mans, Michael Garman, Blair O'Neill, Steve Williams, Brandon Yancey, Daredevil, Ali Howard, Fun Guy, my brother Tony, Nathan Spratt. Who else we got here? I just skipped over somebody. My good brother Kenyon in the building. Black Hawk, Champagne Poppy, Jay Waller, A. Whitfield, Aguilar 99, J. Will, Patrick Covington Jr., Wide Diggy, and we're going to stop right there. General Grievous 2005. Not sure I've seen your name before, but if I have, excuse me. But welcome. And everybody else, man, we'll get to you guys later. All right, where do we want to start? I think the first thing we probably should talk about, man, if I'm not mistaken, and guys, let me know, is the music in the background too loud, too low? Y'all keep me abreast on that. I think we want to go ahead and start with, let's talk Joe Hayden first, and then we'll dissect the roster. Hey, man, listen, I don't have no problem with Joe Hayden getting a contract extension. For you guys that don't know, they basically did a 2-year extension, which basically is 3 years. I'm pretty sure it puts us in a situation where the Steelers can't hear the music. Okay, good. I didn't want it to be too loud. Let me turn it up a little bit, and you guys will give me the report on that. I'm sure they did it to where they could, if they have to, they could cut early, But I think all plans are probably is for Joe Hayden to finish out, a 3-year period. And, then he can go off into the high pasture. He can walk on and retire as a Steeler, what have you. And that's probably how they're going to do it. Or like I said, I'm sure they built in a situation where they'll be able to cut if necessary. But I'm sure they made the deal good for Hayden and good for the Steelers in terms of cap and, like I said, dead money and all of that jazz. Outside of that, music sounds fine for me on my phone. Okay. All right, good. As long as it's not too loud. It's just meant to be ambient music. I don't want it to overpower what we're doing, and I don't, I want it to kind of cover up some of the background sounds you hear with me being in the steel basement. I meant to say that in the intro. That is what I'm actually calling what I do now, the steel basement, which features Terrible Towel Tuesday, which features Terrible Towel post-game show, which features the Steelers report, the whole collective will be called the Steel Basement. And I just came up with that on a whim. Hope you guys like it. But that's what it's meant to be, just a little ambient music. Let's see what else we want to talk about. Well, let's continue with Hayden. Yeah, man, listen. Joe Hayden has been, I think, better than advertised, coming into the Steelers organization. Some people thought he was washed up. Some people thought he was too old. Some people thought he was, his injury proneness, if you will, would get to him, even though it's funny me saying that with him coming off a little minor ankle injury. And he did have a couple injuries with the Steelers, but I don't think it's been anything overly bearing. I think he had a great season last year. He did have the season with us where, he had the tibia. I'm saying that correctly? The tibia? That's the way you said, the little, the leg injury. And back, what was that, a couple years ago, but still, Joe Hayden has been, I think, performed better than we thought. And I'm cool with what we're doing with him, him being a veteran corner. We don't really have another guy. Believe it or not, the more veteran guy as far as the Steelers team would be Artie Burns. I'm not talking about just in the league, because I think Burns and Steven Nelson are probably right around the same amount of years in the league, if I'm not mistaken. But Artie Burns would be our most veteran cornerback behind Joe Hayden. So listen, you always want to have that type of veteran leadership somewhere, whether it's, receiver, we've done that in the past years, or we've done it at safety, and, definitely we're doing it now at cornerback. So I'm cool with it. Again, guys, as much as we all might not want to accept this, the Steelers are definitely still in a rebuilding stage. And it's going to start from all different areas of the field. We're definitely rebuilding that linebacker where we got, TJ Watt in the outside. He's probably going to be a real stud for us for a long time. We're hoping Devin Bush is going to be a stud for us in the inside for a very long time. Hope a guy maybe like Ulysses Gilbert might be a stud for us down the road. And cornerback is going to be another one of those positions. Steven Nelson is another veteran signing that we needed, that he'll probably be able to help carry the torch along with Joe Hayden. But you got to think beyond those guys. We got a lot of young guys behind them. Justin Lane being one of those guys. So it just is what it is. Wasn't a whole lot of options at corner. Why not solidify Joe Hayden? He's been a very, very good, addition to our secondary. So I'm not upset at that by any stretch. Let's see, what else did I wanted to cover, man? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Take a look at my notes here. And I try to keep my notes. Let's see. Oh my God, you guys are probably hearing double audio. My bad, man. You guys are probably hearing double audio because I had. I apologize for that if you guys were hearing that. I had the stream playing on the computer and I didn't even realize that. So I super duper apologize if you guys were hearing that. Let me cut that off here. Didn't mean to do that. But let me look at my notations here really quick. Let's talk a little Tuzar Skipper, man. Okay, y'all said I sounded perfect. Great, thank God. And thank God that I didn't have the headphones close to the microphone, because y'all would have heard some weird audio there. Let's talk Tuzar Skipper, man. For you guys that don't know, we're going to get to the 53-man roster, but I want to spend some time on that. So I want to talk about some key components really quick. This guy, man, has been in and out of foster homes and, just had a rough childhood, a rough past. And to see how far this guy has come, him and Cam Kelly is definitely the reason why I can no longer say, and I'm going to borrow this quote from, Steelers Depot, because they said it on their podcast. I don't think I can start calling these dudes camp bodies anymore. I was guilty of it when we talk about a guy like Cam Kelly. I definitely called him a camp body. And a lot of you guys, and I believe Jay Will was one of the guys, was telling me, yo, this dude is going to make the team. And he made it, right? And then a guy like Skipper is even further down the chain. He didn't even play no recent football. He didn't have the AAF, even though the AAF wasn't that credible. But hey, it did get Kelly a look and got him in the door. But a guy like Skipper, undrafted and, had an injury in college. I think it was an ACL or something like that. And, the bottom of the bottom. And this dude plays himself onto the roster. Phenomenal. And I just wanted to point that out, man, in case you guys haven't read it. I'll actually put, if I remember, don't hold me to it. I'll put the link in the description, after we're done with the show. If I don't, Don't kill me, guys. I just forgot. But you could go to Steelers.com, man, and just look up the article here. It says, from Foster Holmes to 53-man roster. Read up on it, man, just so you can learn your player a little bit. Learn about Tuzar Skipper and just the path that he's taken to get to the 53-man roster. So now, let's get to the 53. Gotta talk about this roster, man. Listen, guys. I was shocked. I was shocked, and I'm gonna take a moment. And y'all know I normally don't do this. I'm going to take a moment and congratulate myself on being right in my suggestion and saying the Steelers should keep 10 linebackers. I got to give myself a round of applause. Let's hear it. Hey, man. Sometimes you gotta go for it. I didn't think the Steelers would do it, but they did it. They kept 10 linebackers. And guys, for you guys who are new to the show and haven't been listening to me for the last 2 or 3 shows, I said specifically, we need to go with 10 linebackers. I know we don't do it. And I know it was even a couple guys here watching the show that said, hey, Sim, we never keep 10 linebackers. I remember you guys said that, right? But I said, listen, this season, you got to go for what you know. We are very thin on the outside when you get past the number 3 guy, and the number 3 guy right now is still up for grabs. It's more than likely Chicolo until Deante gets back in the fold, but we still have to wait and see what Deante is. So my whole argument there was, listen, once you get to 3, you a little weak. Who's going to be it? Behind Bud Dupree, who we are hoping is going to be the best Bud Dupree, and behind TJ Watt. Then you go to the inside linebacker situation, same thing. I think we got a very solid 3-man rotation, adding Bush into the fold, adding Barron into the fold, and, you know, Vince Williams is going to be what Vince Williams is. But behind that, Tyler Matakevich, nah, I wasn't comfortable with that. We saw how that worked out a few years ago, or whatever the last time we seen him play defense. And then I was like, listen, you can't just go with 4 of those guys. And the Steelers quite often, a lot of times they do keep 5 inside. So I was saying I think that gives Gilbert a path to the 53. But I was skeptical about Skipper. I didn't know what they were going to do to get Tuzar Skipper on the roster. I didn't think it would be at the expense of the wide receiver position. I thought it might have been maybe they only keep 8 offensive linemen. So let's go through the roster, man. So for you guys that don't know, and if you don't already know who's on the 53, shame on you because you're not following your squad. But I'm not going to shame you guys for that. Not everybody is, has the time to be as crazy fanatic as I am. But here you go. At quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger. No surprise there. Mason Rudolph, the number 2. Probably no surprise to us there. Okay? And Joshua Dobbs. So, unfortunately, you guys that were, Devlin Hodges or Duck Hodges as they call him, fans of him, unfortunately, didn't happen. All right? Josh Dobbs has NFL resume, even though it's very dun-dun-dun, in my opinion. It's a little poo-poo-ish. But it probably warranted keeping him as a number 3, at least in a pinch. The guy can move, with his feet and get you out of a crunch. So if it came down to that, if you're all the way down to your number 3, I guess Dobbs can definitely do that. So it is what it is. Running backs, James Conner, Jalen Samuels, Benny Snell. I don't think there's any surprise there. Fullback, Rosie Nix. Who's surprised about that? Now, I'm going to skip over wide receivers because I want to come back to them. Tight end, Vance McDonald, X-Man, and Zach Gentry. Now, you notice as of today, we haven't seen any move to get a tight end, although they did put in a claim for, what's the guy's name? Ricky, Jones Seals? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm probably saying his name wrong. But the Steelers did put in a claim for him, lost their waiver claim to Cleveland. But clearly we were trying to get another tight end. And it makes me wonder, who would we have cut? Would we have cut Zach Gentry or Grimble? Because some people were saying that they were speculating that maybe Grimble was dealing with some type of injury. Still could be. But that's interesting, man. So clearly we're not 100% happy at tight end. Neither am I. Because listen, Vance McDonald, he still has to prove that he can stay healthy. And if he goes down, I'm not necessarily comfortable with these guys behind him. in all fairness, Zach Gentry is a rookie. You know, that's the main reason why I say that. It's not that I don't believe the guy can play football. He's a rookie. And he wasn't a highly rated rookie. And then Grimble, we all know what we get from him. Decent. Had a better season last year, but sour taste in our mouths. But him fumbling the ball away. Clear touchdown in Denver. And this is what made it worse. When he told us after the game, I probably could have just, you know, sidestepped and went into the end zone, but I wanted to run over the guy. Well, if you're going to do that, sir, make sure you get into the end zone, can you? All right, let's move on. Defensive line, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, Tyson Alualu, Isaiah Buggs, Javon Hargrave, and Daniel McCullers, which shouldn't be any surprise there. Javon Hargrave, guys, did not get a contract extension. I'm a little concerned about that because this lets me know that I'm pretty sure he's going to test free agency come the end of the season. Now, of course, the Steelers could, you know, attempt to tag him if they want to do that, or they could attempt to try to sign him. But it sounds like to me, if you didn't get an extension done, and if you have a good season, if you're Hargrave, just from a business standpoint, you test the water. And if somebody else is willing to pay a little more, you got to go that route. I would hate to lose Javon Hargrave. I think he's been more special than what most people would give him credit for. And it'd be just our luck that he has an amazing season this year. So that kind of sucks. And the Steelers usually don't do business during the season. It's the reason why I don't feel like an extension could still happen. But it is what it is. Let's go back to the offensive line. Offensive line. Alejandro Villanueva, Matt Fowler, Chukwuma Okorafor. I'm going to try to say his full name there. Zach Banner, Ramon Foster, David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey, BJ Finney, and Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson made the team. I thought Fred Johnson might be a practice squad candidate, or perhaps he would have gotten cut because, again, I'm thinking we were going to trim the fat, no pun intended, off of the offensive line. But we didn't. So obviously they see something in Fred Johnson, another undrafted free agent that made the 53. All right, let's move down to outside linebacker. TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Anthony Chickalo, Ola Adeni, and Tuzar Skipper. Oh, am I so happy about that. Inside linebacker, Vince Williams, Devin Bush, Mark Barron, Tyler Metakevich, Dirty Red, as most of you guys would know him as, and Ulysses Gilbert III, UG3. Super excited about that. You guys know I wanted those two guys. Those were my dark horse guys. And Gilbert started, to me, pulling away because I felt like we probably would need to get him in more so than Skipper, even though I wanted them both. And then Skipper was the last guy I was pulling for, and he made it. Cornerback, Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson, Mike Hilton, Cam Sutton, Artie Burns, and Justin Lane. Like I said a long time ago, guys, Artie Burns was not going to get cut. For one, you have to think about the depth. For two, the Steelers are probably not in the best business of cutting a first-round pick. And again, like I said, the depth chart just didn't make me feel like someone else would take that spot. So Artie Burns is probably going to be somewhat of a rotational guy this coming season. Hopefully he could be better than what he has been when he gets in the game. Maybe he doesn't have to play that much. We'll see. Safety, Sean Davis, Terrell Edmonds, Cameron Kelly, and Jordan Dangerfield. I like Jordan Dangerfield, but I wish, again, y'all know my mantra, and for you guys that don't, I like new blood. I like taking chances on new blood when guys are pretty similar to each other. You know, can we say that Dangerfield is better than Marcus Allen defensively? I don't think you can say that. I think you could probably say they're pretty comparable. So if you're in a situation like that, me personally, I'd rather go with the new blood. I would have much rather have seen Marcus Allen make it and get a chance. However, Jordan Dangerfield has been a special teams demon. And a lot of times, man, when you're on the back end of the roster, particularly safety and linebacker, you're going to have to play special team. Part of the reason why we didn't think Tuzar Skipper would make it until the finale when he did play special teams and got 2 tackles. Marcus Allen probably couldn't beat out Dangerfield in that regard, and he gets the nod. Even though Marcus Allen did get re-signed to the practice squad, so I'm cool with that. And then kickers, of course, Chris Boswell, Jordan Berry, long snapper Cameron Candidate, and let's talk about wide receiver. Wow. Interesting. Juju Smith-Schuster, Dante Moncrief, James Washington, Ryan Switzer, Deante Johnson. All right, guys. Now, do you remember when a lot of us had that debate about Switzer and Eli Rogers? A lot of you guys probably remember that I said I liked Eli Rogers a little more in terms of what I thought overall ability could be. These guys are pretty comparable. One guy might be a little more athletic than the other. But I said, recency bias, I probably would go with Ryan Switzer. Ryan Switzer offers us a little more. And I think it was very evident. None of us thought that we would not keep 6 receivers. At least I didn't. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I didn't think that. And it became very evident to me that, okay, they're favoring Ryan Switzer to do more than Eli Rogers. And remember the game, I think it might have been week 2 or 3. And remember I said Eli Rogers didn't get as many snaps and it made me feel as if his position was safe. Boy, did that change. Eli Rogers got cut, guys. And Ryan Switzer is who they decided to keep. And you got to, again, look at what happens on the field. Ryan Switzer was handling punts. Ryan Switzer was handling kick returns. And clearly, the only competition he had with kick returns was Deontay Spencer, right? The only competition that he may have at some point with punt returns will be Deante Johnson. But we didn't see any Eli Rogers. We didn't really see Deontay Spencer handling punts. And again, Switzer looked like the guy that was first man up, so they elected to go with Switzer. I didn't see Eli Rogers getting cut. Oh, well, actually, let me backtrack what I wanted to say here. Actually, I can't say I didn't see him getting cut. I did think it was possible that one of those guys would get cut if, and only if, they tried to find a way to keep Holton as the 6th receiver. I thought that was what was going to happen. I thought Johnny Holton would knock one of those guys off the roster and one of them would get cut to make him the 6th man. But I'd never imagined that the Steelers would only keep 5. And then they were able to get Holton back on the practice squad. So the Steelers gambled a little bit. Okay, they gambled a little bit and they were able to get a couple guys back on the practice squad that they probably want to keep around. Got a little lucky. Okay, I'm happy to see that Holton is like the ace in the hole in case we need to pull him up or something like that. So it still worked out. But I was completely shocked, man, by them only keeping 5 receivers. I'm not going to lie about that. But if you take a look at these receivers, man, a lot of these guys, they are multi-talented. Juju Smith-Schuster is multi-talented. He can play inside and out. We both know that. We all know that. Moncrief in his career has played in the slot as well, and he's primarily going to be the X-Man, right? James Washington is probably going to be your Z in most cases, but James Washington is balling out of control, at least in the preseason. Hopefully that carries over. Ryan Switzer, we already know what he is. He's a versatile type of guy, utility type of guy, if you will. A Julian Edelman type of guy, that could get you those quick outs and work the middle of the field and things like that, and don't mind going across the middle and getting punished. One of those type of guys. And I wouldn't say that he's as good as Edelman, but he's basically that. On a level of like a Cole Beasley, I guess you would say, can do a few things for you. And then Deante Johnson, man, I think whenever he develops, he's gonna be a bad boy. You guys know how I feel about him, how I felt about him after the draft, after I was able to watch his tape and things like that. The ability that he has, he showed a little bit of it in preseason, was still dealing with a minor injury. But I think, going forward, Deante Johnson is going to be a very interesting wide receiver for the Steelers. I think he's going to do a lot for us. So he could be an X factor at some point. But another thing that this tells me, with only 5, all of these guys are probably going to be active. Because I don't think the Steelers are going to go into a game with just 4 receivers. So that's another interesting component about it. All 5 receivers will more than likely be active every week, which means Johnson is going to see some playing time this year. So this is very interesting, man. Very, very, very interesting. But again, my biggest takeaways was I'm happy that they stuck with Gilbert and Skipper, and they realized that we need to keep as much depth as possible, and they kept 10 linebackers. And that's really my biggest takeaway. And I just didn't think that wide receiver would only be 5 spots. So that's my biggest takeaway there, guys. We got a few phone calls in the queue, so we might as well go ahead and start attacking those. Let me pull out the headphones. You guys know the routine, man. Keep it down to a minimum. 2 minutes or less is what works the best. And I didn't mean to rhyme that day, I promise. First up, area code 973. You are live. What you got for us tonight?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? How you doing, brother? This is Jay Will.
Good. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, man. I just want to say, man, I'm excited about this season right here with our mixture of young guys and old guys, and I want to see how this turn out. And I think New England Sunday, for our first game, a good measuring stick too. I like that we got to play them, beginning of the season. And yeah, I'm happy to be a Steelers fan, man. I'm happy to be part of Steelers Nation, man. I think we got a class organization, as far as things like Ryan Shazier, paying him his money and bringing him along, William Gay, Johnson, giving them a chance to be coaches. And even, we may not like Artie Burns and his production and all that. I'm not a fan of him. But I think Mike Tomlin like him for the simple fact that, he don't have no parents and he's taking care of his siblings. So I think that's a good reason why they picked up that 5th-year option. Give him that little last 800 or so odd thousand that he needs, because they know, as far as his background. But yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to see how this turned out, man. I'm happy that we kept 10 linebackers, man, and I want to see how this go, man. Let's go Steelers Nation.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate that call, Jay Will, and you're absolutely right, man. Listen, I love being a Steelers fan, and it's like I said, from everything I've experienced, man, just by going to Heinz Field several times and just the environment when you're there, just to how the organization runs themselves. I hope we remain to be the class act. One thing I did want to say, and you guys in the chat can correct me, no, I don't think Artie Burns, his 5th-year option was not picked up, if I'm not mistaken. That $800,000 was his roster bonus. So just to clarify that, he's not on a 5th-year option. This will be his final season unless he does something amazing and the Steelers want to give him another chance. Same thing with Sean Davis. They're both right now on their final season, so they did not pick up that 5th-year option on Artie Burns. And good timing on the call, man, and I'm going to keep my mouth closed and keep it short as well as we move on to the next call. Remember, guys, 2 minutes or less. Area code 330. Live in the queue. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. I ain't gonna lie, I was shocked about them not trading Artie Burns. Cause I just think that we could have got something better out for him. He's the bust. I hate to say about him, but he's the bust.
Who you think would have took Artie Burns? Who would have been the trade partner in your opinion?
A trade partner, Tampa. Tampa got a couple veterans out on that squad who probably would have been able to mentor him and make him a better person. But right now, like we said a couple weeks ago, his confidence, you'll see him play well, and then when he gets burned, it's like he loses all confidence in himself and gets burned.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I don't know if Artie Burns would have had... I'm not sure we would have been able to find too many people that would have traded for Artie. I could be wrong, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, man, good listening. Good one. Let's get ready for Sunday.
Absolutely, man. Definitely thank you for the call, man. And I want to hear what you guys have to say in the chat, man. What do y'all think about that? Me personally, again, no idea is a bad idea. None of us are professionals here as far as, in the Steelers organization. I just don't feel like there would have been anything there for Burns. And then I'm going to be honest, I get caught in that too sometimes, saying, oh, we should do this, we should trade, we should do that, and we should pick this guy. But we always got to remember, especially with trades, you got to have a trade partner. Same thing we said about AB. we all say, oh man, first round talent. Nah, it all depends on who. The trade people, they knew. The other teams knew we had to offload AB. So it didn't surprise me when it ended up being what it was. I was disappointed, but it didn't surprise me. But appreciate the call, man. Next call, area code 267. What you got for us? It didn't surprise me when it ended up being what it was. Hello? Yeah, make sure you mute the background, though, man, so we won't have the double audio.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. What you got for us tonight?
Oh, hey Sim, how you doing?
Good, man.
First thing I like you got the Steelers in the background, man. When I normally watch you on YouTube, I don't see the big sign. I'm glad you got that there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all the secret, man. Y'all know I don't mind telling y'all the secret. That what y'all see right there is like a last minute adjustment. It's like a towel. No, it's a blanket that I had that is not big enough to be a real blanket. And I'm moving some furniture, so I moved this sofa from back there. So I was like, what can I do? And then boom, I just tacked it up, and I'm glad you like it.
It looked good. Hey man, I just want to I'm like a 30-year fan calling from Philly, and I just connected with you a couple months. So real quick, I just wanted to say thanks for doing all of this. But moving forward though, one thing I get the feeling between Eli Rogers and when it comes to Switzer, every game I watch, when Switzer is back there, I am not nervous. Like when the punt or the return, when somebody else is back there, as soon as it go off the foot, I'm like, come on now, let's not turn this thing over. And I think that's one thing in the coach's mind that kind of kept Switzer, because he only fumbled that one time where AB kind of got in his way or messed him up. That's the only time I seen him put the ball on the ground,
Yeah.
So I think that really worked in his favor, which is cool. The other thing is, I just think we need a playmaker at every level on defense. I really love seeing the defense now. Like, when the offense go off, I'm a little sad, obviously, but when the defense come on with the D-line, from the linebackers, one of our safeties this year gotta step up.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we got Joe Haden there with the D-back, somebody who can make plays. We got Cam on the front line. Obviously, we got a couple linebackers who can make plays. We weak at, not that we weak at safety, but somebody got to step up and be a playmaker on the back end for us to be successful. And then I think we can be that dominant defense again, because you just can't smack into people these days, or the ref gonna call a flag. So we need somebody back there to at least tip the ball, or do something. So, that's my 2 cents, man. And once again, I just want to say thank you for having this show and give us the opportunity to check in and be fans from far away. All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. No doubt. And thank you for the call, man. I love listening to new callers, man. I really appreciate it. Lets me know that this platform is working and giving you guys a voice. So yeah, 30-year fan, and he lives in Philly. And if anybody knows, I know I've been to Philly a million times. Them fans out there is crazy. So to live in Philly and be a fan of another football team, big time salute to you. He's absolutely right, man, what he said about Eli Rogers. Man, I wish Eli could have not fumbled. I believe that was the Chicago game, because I think Eli has exactly what Switzer has in him, maybe a little better. Athleticism-wise, because he has made some plays for us, and I would have loved to have seen him get that chance, but y'all know how it works in football. You don't get 100 chances. And Tomlin has been vocal by saying when guys put the ball on the ground, puts a sour taste in his mouth. And Switzer just had the opportunity to do more than Eli get injured. And there you have it. So unfortunately, that's how it goes, man. But yeah, we definitely need that playmaker on the secondary level. And really quick, and I don't want to take too much of you guys' time, but really quick, I see my man Champagne Poppy says he's on the Grant Delpit bandwagon. Listen, me and Kenyon been talking about that kid for months. Keep your eyes on Grant Delpit, safety, LSU. Yeah, I need to see him in the black and yellow. I would love that. Let's move on. We got another area 973. You are live. What you got for us tonight?
Hello, Sam.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, this is Debbie.
Hey, Debbie. Oh man, Debbie has called, guys. How you doing, Debbie?
Hey, it's okay. I'm doing all right. It's been a rough 2 months, but it's going okay. I haven't been able to really keep up with a lot of stuff that you're doing, so I was trying to sit back and kind of listen to who was picked up on the 53. You answered my question about the tight end because I was kind of nervous about that. The only thing I could really add is I hope, at least for this year, they resolve the issue of predictability.
Oh man, tell me about it. Yes, especially Sunday, because Tom Brady. I mean, sometimes it hurts to hear how Tom Brady. Y'all ever listen to what he say after the game when he play us, when they win? It's like he literally says, "You know, I love playing them. I know what they're gonna do," and that hits me to the core. So yeah,
exactly.
I fully agree with that.
And I think with some of these upgrades or what's happening on defense, I think after this year, Keith Butler, you can't hide anymore.
Very, very true. I couldn't agree with you more. I know Leonard is probably praising your name right now because me and Leonard always go back and forth about Butler. But y'all are right. I will concede and say after now it's been a couple years, there's no more excuses, man. I mean, I know we can't keep talking about, well, we got to have the players. We got some guys now, especially at linebacker. So now it's up to Butler to mix and match and get the best out of these guys. And if he can't do it, then, oh well, bring somebody else in.
That's right. Well, that's all I have because I don't want to go over my 2 minutes. So.
Well, Debbie, definitely, I know you can still hear me. I muted you really quick, but I definitely want to appreciate you calling. First and foremost, guys, and I'm going to give a round of applause after I say this. Listen, we don't tell business here unless we want to share business, so I wasn't going to ask Debbie what's been going on, but I just want to say this, Debbie. I don't know what's going on, but prayers to you. You know, you said it's been rough for the last 2 months, so I just want to let you know that myself, Tony, Leonard, we'll all keep you in prayer, and hopefully everything is okay now, you know, and we'll be here whenever you can come on, but I definitely appreciate your call. Let's give Debbie a round of applause. And guys, make sure y'all send a shout to Debbie, man. You know, Debbie is the resident mom here, man. And I only say that not because, you know, age or anything. You know, she could be a young woman. I don't know. I only say that because she's a woman. And women always carry that motherly keep us in check. And she's done that a few times. So prayers to Debbie and hopefully everything's okay. Let's move on to the next caller. We have area 803. How you doing tonight? What you got for us?
What's going on?
I'm good, man. What you got tonight?
Oh man, well, very excited this year because last few years, you know, a few years ago, think about having I don't know about the quality of depth on the defensive line. I hope those Bugs and McCullers can ball out this year if need to be. But I like the solid depth on offensive defensive line. Very seldom a team will have that kind of depth and those assets, and that's very positive to me. I really wish we could have Deante Spencer. We had room for him. I really liked him, but I was glad we kept Horton. And next to last, I feel very positive going up to New England and almost feel like they don't have something that they can key on this year other than Juju Smith-Schuster on offense. And that will be a positive for us. But on the negative end, I'm still a little scared about our safety, you know. I'm hoping one day that we'll
we'll have somebody to ball out back there. I mean, right now, I don't know what's the situation on Sean Davis.
Yeah.
And I hope Cameron Kelly, if need to be in the lineup, he will play like a horse. Thank you so much.
Man, and thank you for calling. And outside of just calling, man, you definitely reminded me of that. And I'm gonna pull up the practice squad really quick. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Cam Kelly. I hope that. Listen, man, it sounds like Sean Davis might not play. I mean, we don't have any word on him right now. We'll see, but it sounds like perhaps Sean Davis might not be ready for week 1. We'll probably know later in the week. Y'all know how it works in the regular season, man. If they practice Wednesday or if they don't, it doesn't look as good. But if they can get back by Thursday, Friday, it looks better. But we shall see. And hopefully a guy like Cam Kelly can step in there and play. He looked good in preseason. The word is he looked good at camp. But playing against Tom Brady and playing in the real world is a totally different thing. We shall see. But speaking of the practice squad, man, before I take the next call, let me see if I can find it real quick, man, because I see a couple of you guys in here talking about the practice squad. I know a few of the guys that made it. I can't find it right now, man. I don't want to waste you guys' time, but I know for sure Johnny Holton, Marcus Allen, Trey Edmonds, what's the big country boy, man, that I was hoping we would keep? Mondo, big country right there. Who else, guys? Y'all got to help me out in the chat. But to my knowledge, PJ Locke did not make it. Askew Henry did not make it. And those are probably the biggest names. Robert Spillane, number 49, for you guys that don't recognize his name, he made the practice squad. Kevin Radar, another tight end, which didn't like his performance in preseason, but it just goes to show you that obviously we still need tight end help. And there's a few more guys that I'm probably forgetting there. Somebody else can help me out. But the biggest names, like I said, Johnny Holton, Marcus Allen made the practice squad. And that big kid Mondo, I like him. He made the practice squad. Christian Scotland Williamson, with his, transition exception, something with him being, from another country or what have you. I don't know exactly how that works, but he's on the squad. But there you have it. Not much more than that. And Spencer, for you guys that didn't know, he did get claimed by the Denver Broncos. So we may be seeing him in this upcoming season returning some kicks for the Denver Broncos. Next in line, area code 412. You are live. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? This is Pat. How you doing, man?
Good. What's going on, Pat?
Oh, not much, man. Really enjoying the 53-man roster. Kind of surprised that he didn't keep 6, and I'm really happy for you because they kept Skipper and Gilbert, who were well deserving of being on this roster, and I think they will have an amazing stamp on that linebacking group. I wanted to talk about how I believe, and I don't know if you noticed in the queue yet, but I think Switzer could actually start at slot. As I see it, I have it as Juju, James Washington, and Ryan Switzer. I think Switzer could bring that Edelman effect to the team, multi-talented. He could even, in a sense, be in the backfield. I can possibly see that happening. Like, remember we had Dre Archer that at one time? Whenever we tried that out with Dre Archer and it didn't work, I think we could use that, having him and maybe Jalen Samuels in the backfield as like maybe them on crossing routes or him as another weapon in the running game. And when it comes to Sunday night, which I'm excited about, I want to say how I feel like when it comes to the defensive side. I would say really keep an eye out on Devin Bush and Mike Hilton when it comes to the Julian Edelman matchup. I feel like the both of them, I already know Devin Bush is going to be a problem child in the league. My pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year I don't care who asks me on that. See me in the queue if you don't disagree. I feel like they can really, because we saw what happened with Edelman in the Super Bowl, how he destroyed Peters and Talib. But I think Hilton and Bush could possibly shorten the field with Edelman and probably pressure him.
2-minute warning.
And make it hard for him and Brady to have a connection and have that all-star Super Bowl chemistry that they always had, because I think they're kind of short at receiver right now with Henry on the IR, with Harry on the IR, and cut Demaryius Thomas. They're kind of light.
He's back. Thomas is back on a 1-year
deal. Oh, he's back?
Yeah.
He's back? Okay. And I don't know if he's still that same Demaryius Thomas, so old in the Broncos. And even though they have Josh Gordon, I don't know if he could be effective. So I think but those are my two guys I think that could really put a stamp on that game, and I think could really shock them like Kansas City did in the season opener. And I think the Steelers could win that one. Thanks for taking my call, man. Oh, and my dad's he's been listening to you. He hasn't forgotten about you, so he just wanted to shout my dad out to everybody and to you too, Sim. So thanks, man.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Appreciate the call, and shout outs to man Patrick Covington Sr. Like you guys, some of you may or may not know, man, Patrick here, who just spoke, Patrick Jr., had been listening for a while and introduced me to his dad. His dad called in one night. What a humbling feeling, man. Blessed. Here I am transcending generations. So shout outs to Patrick Covington Sr., man. Let me not even talk like that, sir. I always respect my elders. So definitely when he calls back, when he views, if he hears this, super shout out to you. And really quick before I move on, man, I want to offer my condolences to you, Debbie. Like I said, guys, when I got off the line with Debbie, I wasn't going to share any information. That's why I didn't ask anything. She shared that with us. Said she's had a tough time, busy with work, and unfortunately lost her father in July. So guys, please wish your condolences to Debbie. It's got to be tough. That's all I can really say. I'm not one of those people who try to, I know how you feel. No, you don't. You don't know how they feel unless you've been in that exact situation. So let's offer our condolences to Debbie, and let's appreciate her for even checking in on us, where there's other world things going on. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump into New England. We got about 11 minutes left, so we'll probably shut down the phone calls as of tonight. I see my big brother Floyd is in here, man. So Floyd, definitely, man, we got to get you in. As you can see, all you got to do is just call now. So we'll get you in sooner than later. I can tell y'all right now, we'll get a Floyd call after a loss, and that'll be a good call for y'all to hear. Floyd will be fired up. But let's talk some New England, man. Then we'll get out of here, man. Listen, what Patrick said is key. Let's pay attention to Devin Bush and Mike Hilton, but let's talk Devin Bush first. Here's a couple things. What have New England always been able to do to us when it comes to linebacker? Think about when we've gone into sub package or dime package. They've always found a way to get Edelman or one of those guys on a linebacker. Remember in the championship, I think it was, and we kept seeing the matchup with who was it we had then? Lawrence Timmons. Oh my God, we were getting ridiculously exposed. They always do that to us. When they catch us in the right defense, there's always a linebacker matched up on somebody they ain't got no business on. Devin Bush could be, the person who can rectify that for us. So let's look for that matchup, as well as what he said about the tight ends. They're very thin at tight end. Very thin. Okay, there's a couple guys who won't be there. A couple guys, if I'm not mistaken, that are suspended. Some of their top guys. But here's what I need to know, and maybe some of you guys in the chat can help me out with this. What about Demaryius Thomas? Obviously, we know he re-signed for what I heard, if I'm not mistaken, 1-year deal, so he's back. But Is Josh Gordon able to play? Do you guys know that? Did he not get any suspension? I know he was reinstated, but what kind of suspension did he get? Because I know Leonard even asked me this too a week or so ago, and I didn't really follow the Josh Gordon situation closely to know how much he was suspended maybe last year or whatever. But is he going to get any type of penalty, or will we be facing him in week 1? And if that's the case, there's some receivers we need to worry about. So it's going to definitely come down to how we play them. You know, we got to throw a lot of different coverages out there. We have to, like we did last year. We beat them last year, right? And the way that we beat them is we had a lot of match concepts and we had a lot of trap coverage going on. Like the play when Joe Hayden got the interception. You know, we made it look like zone and then we switched off at the last minute, and that's how Joe Hayden was able to break out and get the interception. We're going to have to do those type of things and try to confuse Brady, which that's impossible to do. The man has seen everything. But we have to not be so vanilla. We have to throw different things at him. Throw man at him when he's not expecting man. Throw zone at him when he's not expecting zone. And mix and match. A lot of pattern matching type of defenses we definitely need to do, and we got to get pressure. I think if we do that, I don't know if New England's offense will be as powerful. I mean, of course, when you got Tom Brady at the helm, it's not like he needs the best receivers in the world. And his game plan, along with Bill Belichick, is whether you guys hate or love them, they're going to figure some things out. But like I said, come with the same game plan or approach. Come with the same mindset and approach that we had last year, and let's go take them out. I think we can do it. I think our offense should be able to put up enough points, and if our defense has improved, I think we can put a plan together to help us get past them. It's going to be tough. We're going into Foxborough, but I think it's going to tell us a lot about the team. And let me caution you guys with this. Y'all know me. Y'all know I ain't ready to say what the team is till about week 5, week 6. I need to see a full body of work, not just one game. Don't get overly optimistic if we go in there and win. And don't get overly down if we go in there and lose. It is week 1. Here's the 2 things you have to remember. The Steelers have traditionally started the season off slowly for whatever reason. We have had a couple seasons here where we've been, 7-2 and things like that. But I'm talking about before we're playing peak football. We've started relatively slow. We've been relatively sloppy in the first game, etc., etc. Don't go banging your head up against the wall if the Steelers don't win the game. I mean, it's set up for New England to win. Coming off of a Super Bowl, you're celebrating that. It's in prime time. You're at home. And like I said, if we go in there and win, don't let that go to your head. Oh, we going to the Super Bowl. Nah. Don't do that. I'm just looking to see how we look in the win or loss. I just want to see how we look, how we play, how we approach it, how we manage the clock, all of these things. But not being biased, I think we can actually go in there and get the win. I don't think New England is this great team right now. They are a systematic team, very good at their system. But again, we were able to beat those guys last year. Our defense, I believe, is better. Our offense may have taken a minor step back, but I think it's still enough offense to move the ball against New England. And I think we can win the game. So we shall see. We shall see. But all right, man, this is perfect timing, man. I feel like I did a good job on my timing tonight. We got exactly 6 minutes left. We'll use this time in the chat and see what you guys got. So give it to me. What y'all got in the chat, man? Fire away. What y'all got? What y'all got?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Let me see. Kenya says, I'm not calling out scores. I have to respect the Pats because they are the gold standard right now. Yeah. And until you dethrone, you have to respect them. Fully agree with that, Kenya. Fully agree with that, my man. Why Diggy says, New England usually starts off slow out the gate as well. Now, you are absolutely right about that. Because what was it? Was it last year or the year before that they was like 0-2. One of them seasons, they started off real slow. So you're absolutely right about that. That's why I said, man, I think we can go in there and get them. For the last few seasons, teams have been able to beat them in the opener. Champagne Poppy says Pats have more drama than the Steelers. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's see. Ernest Grice says, I think this will be the first time we get off in years. First time we get off in years? I think you might have missed a word in your sentence there. Francis says, my brother is a Patriots fan and he says we have no one except Juju. What do you tell him? Tell him let's just wait and see. You know what I mean? Because listen, we got some talent on that roster. And matter of fact, why don't you ask him who do they have outside of Brady? If we're talking about offensive or defense. So the funny thing about that, the New England Patriots haven't had to have these outstanding talents. They've had one or two here and there, and they've still been able to win. I mean, why can't another team do that? Why can't the Steelers be the type of team that could get themselves to the Super Bowl this year? I'm not saying they will, but why can't they? When New England has been a product of that for years. They have a superstar quarterback, a beast at tight end, and then everybody else were just good players. Edelman is a good player, but he ain't great. You know what I mean? He's not like a guy that you're really scared of. He's a matchup nightmare at times, but he's not like the best receiver ever. And then defensively, they don't have the best talent. They got a couple key guys in your Gilmores of the world and things like that, but Black Hawk says, I'm hoping Bush and Barron play together in this game to keep the middle of those short passes in check. Plus, their defense didn't seem to add much in the offseason, so run game should work. Exactly. I think New England is definitely will be vulnerable in some spots as well. No question. Big Marv says, I think the Patriots are vulnerable. Look at that. He just said exactly what I just said. Are vulnerable right now. Wouldn't you agree, Sam? Absolutely, I do. Big Brother Floyd says, X Factors. Kelly, Dupree, and Tuitt on defense, and Moncrief, Vance, and Washington on offense. You might be right, Floyd. You just might be right about that, man, because Kelly, he is absolutely an X factor. Because none of us know what this dude is capable of. So I like that, him being an X factor. And James Washington. Man, if James Washington can give us what we've seen in preseason. Remember what I said, guys. No doubt about it, without having Antonio Brown, Juju could take a slight hit. But the reason why, not the full reason, Juju obviously has talent, but a good reason why Juju was able to cook is because AB was taking most of the coverage, allowing Juju to have more one-on-one situations or weaker coverages. All we need is another guy to produce on offense, and it's going to happen again. If James Washington can consistently produce on Moncrief or even Johnson when he gets in, it's going to allow Juju again to start having more favorable matchups because you won't be able to double everybody. And that's what I'm hoping for. If Washington can be what Washington has shown, watch out. Willie Jackson says, I like how we match up to this version of New England. They've been trending more toward a power running team, which doesn't worry me since traditionally they've always beaten us exploiting bad pass matchups. Absolutely. But I will say this, man. New England has been able to run the ball on us from time to time. But, yeah, in theory, I understand what you're saying. Tristan Middleton says, I got the Steelers being the Patriots' early blowout. They have every season before they correct it and go on a Super Bowl run. I think we will win big by like 17. Wow. See, and I don't even want that because then I'm going to be, I'm trying to tell y'all not to be overly hyped. Then I'll be looking at it like we a B squad. But yeah, you might be right, man. We might catch them slipping. Luis D said, well, not going to underestimate the Patriots since they seem to find a way. But yes, at least on defense, the Steelers has gotten better. As for the offense, Washington, Moncrief, and Johnson are the key. Okay, I like that. Let's see. Maximum Fresh. And as you guys can tell, I'm trying to read some of the names that I haven't traditionally read before. Maximum Fresh, I think you might be a newer viewer. I haven't seen your name before, so I appreciate it. He says, I like our chances to get after Brady in this game. New England lost their longtime center. Without him, the lines are a question mark. You are right. They actually do have some question marks on the line. Forgot to mention that. See, this is why this is a family show. You guys can help me out here. Eric R says, Patriots always wait for you to commit a mistake and pay. Usually they don't show everything until the end. If we go play our game, no mistakes, and protect the ball, we can win this game. So, and let me be honest real quick, man, as we wrap this up, because we're right at the hour mark. I don't think none of us are being biased here. I think a lot of us are giving actual, you know what I mean, actual opinions. None of this I'm reading, it sounds like Steeler bias. Because I think with all of our comments, and mine included, we all understand that we can lose. So I like this. You know, this is the type of fan I try to be, is unbiased. And I'm not going to say, we're going to go in there and kill them. No. It's New England. We know our record, our track record against these guys. But I think if we play our game for 2 years in a row, we've seen that we can play with New England. We did it the first time with the touchdown that was called incomplete. We all know Jesse caught it. And then we got him. We redeemed ourselves last year, beat them. We can play with these guys. And we've actually gotten better. So there you go. So, all right, man, I think that's going to do it for the night. We have reached our hour. Great show tonight. I really enjoyed you guys and enjoyed your time, man. And I love this time slot. I think we got a lot covered. I didn't feel rushed. And we'll be able to commit to this hour. And if we go the full hour, great. If we don't, great. But at least we got that time allotted. So the next time you'll see me, I think I'm going to try to implement the Steeler report. I think I'm gonna do it maybe on Fridays. Now let me give you a caution on that. You guys know Fridays is the day I commute. So if I do it on Fridays, that will definitely be a short show. It might actually just be a pre-recorded show. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. That one might not be a stream. It might just be a quick check-in, boom, 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 and then we'll communicate via comments and things like that. We'll see how we're going to do that, but basically my plans will be Friday or Saturday we'll do a quick recap of the week. We'll talk about the injury report and who we think might be inactive. Just a quick show in and out. But then of course after the game, Terrible Towel post-game show. This one will be a little rough because our game is late, but we're going to make it happen. So there you have it. But either way, a lot of content coming you guys' way. If you haven't already, excuse me, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click on your notifications, ring that bell so you know when the videos are available, and definitely don't forget to hit the like button. You guys have been doing a great job with that. It helps me greatly. And if you want to donate to the cause, let me not forget those of you guys who did donate outside of YouTube via Cash App as well as PayPal over the week. You guys know who you are. Super round of applause for that. And another round of applause for Eric R right here dropping his donation. And if you want to donate here on YouTube, click the $ in the bottom of the chat. Feel free if you prefer another means such as PayPal or Cash App. Information for that is in the description. Always appreciated, never required. You guys know that. But outside of that, I'm going to get out of here. Let's keep an eye out on Sean Davis and anybody else. Doesn't seem like anybody else is hurt. Joe Hayden seems like he's going to play. Let's keep an eye on that, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it later on in the week. All right, man. Y'all be good. Be safe. Be blessed. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.